Well, good evening. That is the usual welcome first couple of lines in a horror audio drama that I really love from the 80s and 90s, I think, Canadian horror audio drama called Nightfall. And more on that in a moment. But welcome to another Tuesday night live horror reading. Thank you guys for being here. Darren wants to know what the temperature is. It's actually cooled down a little bit in the last couple of days, and it's been dark for about, I don't know, an hour, 45 minutes. It's 81 degrees. Usually at this time it would still be around 90, but the last couple of days it has cooled down. Cooled down for Texas. I miss the Midwest. Well, let's see. Who do we have? Kelly. Darren, good to see you. I don't think I've seen you in a couple weeks. Unless I'm getting old and forgetful, which is probably more likely, Darren. And Suzanne and Jeff Thomas and Kim, Frank, Mark. Oh, my memory is correct. All right, good to see you. See ya in quotes. And listen, I posted a link in the side chat. Forgot to do it down below in the show notes, but I will do that later, Jeff, for anyone who watches later. But for those of you watching live, this is good enough. Couple of lines up I wrote, you guys will need this, and I linked to a brand new Jeffrey Thomas book. Monty, what do you, that's, that's like my Lifetime Achievement Award. That's Robert Block. Oh boy. Can you please get down from there? Come here, buddy. Thank you. That is much appreciated. Unbelievable. If you guys have seen the new Superman movie, he is exactly like Crypto. And I'm just glad he does not have superpowers because then I'd really be in trouble. Sorry, I had to turn up the air there. And yeah, you're very welcome, Jeff. Well, look, a couple things. Is there anyone listening to my voice right now who has not read Jeff Thomas? I first discovered Jeff, meaning Jeff's books. It's a little crowded up here tonight, pal. Okay? You can sit on my lap when I'm done. Okay? We'll go sit in the easy chair. Uh, I discovered Jeff, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago, several years before I started the Lovecraft easing. I discovered Punktown. If you have not read Punktown, you should. And then there are more Punktown books. Punktown book, Punktown is an amazing feat of imagination. I I really have to say. And right now I'm writing down reread Punktown because it has been too many years. Yeah, I think Punktown, hey Tim, Tim's Totality, I assume your name's Tim. Yeah, you should. Punktown is a great place to start. Anyway, all of that is by way of introduction. Jeff has a new book out called The Idol, and It's I've started reading it. It's damn good. I just learned about it 2 days ago. Um, and it came out actually, what, about 5 days ago, something like that. And I love this tagline. If I'm saying her name right, Jeff, Sigrid Cant is a beautiful monster. I love that. That hooked me right away. Um, listen, the Kindle edition is only $5.99, and there's a print edition too. You can go there right now and you can get it instantly and you can read it as soon as we're done here. Or you can turn me off and start reading it right away if you want. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. But I asked Jeff if I could read a little bit from The Idol. I'm also going to read a little bit from Blackwater. This thing is a door stopper, guys. I got it when it was only like $10. I think I may have told if if this if I I think I may have told too many people about it, which sounds bad, but I may have driven up the price because it's like $35 now, and there's no Kindle edition. You know, you're just gonna have to get an older copy, but it's a pioneering book. I'm trying to remember when did this come out? I need a little light. There goes the mood. Uh, let's see here. 1983, right. And it just has a ton of stories. I've talked about this a little bit before, but yeah, and I looked up a little bit about it right before here once again because uh, it's uh, this will put it better than I can. Okay, Kelly. Yeah, you can listen to Mike any old time. God damn it. Just get the book and read it. Turn Mike off. Blackwater is important for its pioneering vision, diversity of voices, and for setting a reference point in caring, comprehensive curation of tales that explore the edges of the possible and impossible. Um, that's a good short little summary. The anthology stands out for its distinguished selection of tales that feature elements such as hauntings, time warps, dream states, metamorphoses, and supernatural encounters. Authors included range from classic figures like Edgar Allan Poe, Charles Dickens, Edith Wharton, to South American pioneers of magic realism like Julio Cortázar and Adolfo Bior Casares. I'm sure I butchered both of those names. Uh, but yes, and I remember in the introduction by in the forward, I mean, um, by Mr. Manguel, the editor. Um, he starts off, nothing is more difficult to give up than a pleasure once experienced. And he talks about, um, I found that, I'm skipping ahead. Uh, I found that the discovery of literature is also a solitary act, that literature is a lonely place. There nothing can touch us because, like Alice through the looking glass, we ourselves create the country through which we walk, giving it a geography in our mind. Um, he has many more uh, amazing things to say, and the he says, as far as I can make out, these are the main themes. He's talking about the stories that he selected in the books. Time warps, where time leads two separate existences, one for us, one for the rest of the world. Hauntings, dreams, which become part of reality. Unreal creatures, transformations. Dealings with God and the devil, and several others. Um, anyway, if you can spend 35 bucks, I recommend the book. So, um, and if it wasn't me who drove up the price, I am sorry. Um, I realize as I say that now, that sounds kind of um, egotistical. I don't mean it to. It's just lucky enough to have a lot of people listen to me when I recommend the book, I guess. And that is why I hope you will listen to me when I say, please. Um, Hello, how are you, Monty? We're this is I'm trying to be a professional here. There your claws caught. There you go, buddy. I would say sorry, but I think you guys enjoy seeing Monty, so I won't say sorry. And anyway, let's uh let's read a little bit of Jeff's story. I have it on Kindle. And thank you. Yes, he's a little rascal. Uh let me read real fast. Hey, how's everybody doing? How are you guys doing? Let's get the spooky mood back. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing okay. Sigrid Kent is a beautiful monster. A young social media influencer whose widowed mother was recently murdered under mysterious circumstances. Sigrid has been scouted out by an entrepreneur named Teddy Zeist and invited to an unnamed Southeast Asian country. I wonder where that could be, Mr. Thomas. To model for a local beer brand's advertising campaign. Zeist recognizes that Sigrid is a rare type of individual in possession of a powerful, uncanny charisma and feels it will translate into photos for the campaign. However, while some people are not affected by Sigrid's magnetism, those who are most strongly bewitched experience the strange compulsion to sacrifice their lives to her to prove their devotion. And sometimes Sigrid puts this phenomenon to use for very personal reasons. Um, some nice blurbs by Brian Evanson and Cody Goodfellow here. Um, so I'm going to read a little bit of chapter 2, okay? Okay. And I hope you guys will spend, if you're Kindle people, I hope you'll spend $5.99 on this. In her dream, she is hiking along an overgrown path outlining a pond that seems to crouch, as if in hiding, within thick, shadowed woods. Of course, if Jeff ever is able to get a audio edition of this book, it'll be, I'm assuming, a female reader, but I'll do my best. Not all that long ago, when she was 13, her mother began bringing her down here for photo shoots and the occasional picnic. And she would secretly think of this place as the Enchanted Woods. The Enchanted Woods is the name of a play, but her mother has told her to stop thinking about that play. She has left her car in the parking lot where there is only one other vehicle besides her own today. At the time period of this dream, she hasn't had her car very long. She began driver's education in school until she was forced to drop out at age 16, and her mother paid for her to continue lessons. She is dressed warmly in a hoodie and jeans and wears a pair of nice, chunky hiking shoes. Though it's a gray day, she loves being outside, and she prefers being outside alone. But from off to her left, among the close evergreen trees, a voice comes to her. It purrs in a language she does not understand. "Did you call me Linda?" she asks the man who steps out from between the trees. He's carrying a fishing pole despite the grayness and nippiness of the day, and he tosses it onto the bed of rusty-looking pine needles beside him. "My name's not Linda," she says, dropping a pine cone she idly picked up to examine. The man is shortish, with a squarish body and a squarish head and a thin black mustache. He snorts a laugh, whether he understands what she said or not, as he set down the tackle box he's had in his other hand. He opens the box, and when he straightens up again, he's holding out a fillet knife with an orange plastic handle. He jerks the knife as if to nick the air. "Off," he says, smiling. "Why are you doing this?" she asks him. He gestures again with the knife, but with a few more flourishes, as if that will better illustrate his meaning. "Off." "Take my clothes off?" she says, pushing back her hood. She gestures at her own body as if they've agreed sign language is the best way forward. His grin widens. "Yes, yes," he says, pleased that she not only understands but seems quite calm about his demand. I'm going to go ahead and say it. This guy's a freaking creep. "I guess that's a good idea," she says. "Okay, then, as you wish." She pulls the hoodie up over her head and tosses it aside, as he did with his fishing pole. He watches avidly as she continues to strip. Everything gets tossed onto her hoodie to form a crumpled pile. Her t-shirt, her beige sports bra with its padded inserts, her blue jeans, her black bikini panties. Now, I didn't pick this chapter to titillate, by the way. Um, as I've started reading this book, it illustrates part of the tagline that she is a beautiful monster. "Can I leave my shoes and socks on?" she asks. "There's a lot of goose poop through here." The man with the knife doesn't say anything. His eyes are trailing down her body slowly, unblinking. Thanks, Kim. Her default skin tone is pale, though she tans in summer. She is slender without much flare to her hips, and her breasts are very small. And she shaves down there because she takes a lot of photos for her Instastar page, dressed in revealing bikinis. She looks younger than her 18 years. Creep again. "Okay," she repeats, pointing at her feet. "About my shoes?" The man's gaze trails up her body again, coming to rest on her face. His eyes still have not blinked. His mouth hangs open a little, and there's even drool flowing over his lip, as if he's some cartoon character who sees a pie cooling on a windowsill. "I think you should cut yourself open," she tells him. The man doesn't understand her. He's staring into her pale blue eyes, again opting for sign language. She draws one finger across her throat. At last the fisherman understands, and without hesitation, he plunges the fillet knife's 4-inch blade into one side of his neck. He flinches and finally blinks and lets out a little grunt. But that doesn't stop him from sawing the blade around the front of his neck in several determined tugs. He doesn't drop the knife even when it gets slippery in the flow that gushes down the front of his flannel shirt. Remember, she tells him, bending down to retrieve her bundle of clothing, this was all your idea. I just wanted to be left alone. She puts her clothes back on as if a ritual has been completed. And when she pulls the hood up over her hair again, she sees that the man is still standing there with blood all down his front and soaking his paint-stained jeans, his arms hanging heavily at his sides, and the knife lodged in one corner of the gaping crescent in his throat. He has tears in his eyes as he watches her, and yet he's smiling. You didn't catch anything today, did you? She says, as she walks past him and cuts through the trees to return to her car in the parking lot. So, that's the end of that dream. Of course, there are others. There you go. You need to buy that book and read it. And believe you me, if you have not read any of Jeff's Punktown books or any of his other books, you really should. Let me scroll back here to the front of this. Again, it's called The Idol by Jeffrey Thomas. And just real quickly, books by Jeffrey Thomas he's got some books set in what he calls the unnamed country, which Jeff can explain better than I can. Books set in the unnamed country, the unnamed country, scenes from a village, the spirit of place. Good luck getting that one. Thank you for my copy, Jeff. Gods of a nameless country. Cosmic horror fans, there you go. Also set in Punktown, Cosmic horror fans. Set in Punktown, Monstrosity, Everybody Scream, Deadstock, Blue War, Health Agent, Voices from Punktown, Red Cells, Ghosts of Punktown, and The New God. You have the spirit of place, you're lucky. They're hard to get, aren't they, Jeff? Um, no, sorry, he's Darren. Jeff is nowhere near layman. Uh, this is definitely not a Richard Lehman book. Oh, I didn't know it was on Kindle. Oh, that's great. I guess you can get it, guys. Perfect. The print was a limited run from Earthling Publications. Right, right. Okay. Jeff, one day you'll understand when you're old like me. The memory, the memory goes. Jeff is not only a very talented guy, he didn't know I was doing any of this tonight. He's certainly not paying me to do it. But he's been a supporter of mine for, hell, a decade and a half, and I've been a supporter of his for the same amount of time. Yeah, I know you're older than me. Uh, Should we read a story or two from Blackwater? I'm gonna keep it somewhat short tonight, guys, because I still have a migraine from earlier. Oh, by the way, Patreons, we recorded a couple of hours ago. We recorded a discussion of the dreams in the witch house. So we will, um, I will have that up on the Patreon in a few days. It was a great discussion. Hey, Alan, I was just thinking about you and you popped in there. Now I'm going to think about $1 million, see what happens. Let's see. Oh, this one is a joy of a very short story, flash fiction, really. It's called Insomnia by, well, let me get over there. Forgot the page number. Page 279. Okay. 279, 79. Oh, man, this is hard to do one-handed. All right, there we go. Insomnia by Virgilio Panera. Apologies to my Cuban friends out there, Chaz. I probably butchered that name too. All right. The following very oh, by the way, in this the editor Alberto Benguel, he writes a paragraph or so with his thoughts before each story, um, with not no spoilers. So anyway, he does say the following very short story develops a theme that Sidonio Fernandez liked to talk about. If death and sleep are, in Oscar Wilde's phrase, brothers, there is no reason why one should have power over the other. Well, sure. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, right? Um, which also makes me think of a book and a movie I really, really love by Richard Matheson. Um, what, and it is called What Dreams May Come. You guys have probably seen it. Came out in the late 90s. Love that film. All right, here we go. You could definitely call this flash fiction today. The man goes to bed early, but he cannot fall asleep. He turns and tosses. He twists the sheets. He lights a cigarette. He reads a bit. He puts out the light again, but he cannot sleep. At 3 in the morning, he gets up. He calls on his friend next door and confides in him that he cannot sleep. He asks for advice. The friend suggests he take a walk and maybe he will tire himself out. Then he should drink a cup of linden tea and turn out the light. He does all these things, but he does not manage to fall asleep. Again, he gets up. This time, he goes to see the doctor. As usual, the doctor talks a good deal, but in the end, the man still cannot manage to sleep. At 6 in the morning, he loads a revolver and blows out his brains. The man is dead, but still, he is unable to sleep. Insomnia is a very persistent thing. There you go. That escalated quickly. That's the thing. There's stories in here that I had never heard of, read. Some, of course, I had, but it's always nice to be surprised, right? When you've been reading for over half a century. It's nice to be it's nice to be surprised. That little one surprised me. Um, Plus I love the title, Blackwater, the book of fantastic literature. And, and this was 1983, remember? It really was pioneering. Oh, it's got the H.G. Wells story, The Door in the Wall. I'm looking for a shorter one to read because uh, my migraine is coming back. Not the bitch. Sorry about that. Well, oh, question. Next week, next Tuesday, do you guys want me to read a couple more of these? Stranger Than Science? I'm happy to. I think they're just fun little mood setters. It makes me feel like I'm hosting Art Bell or something, and that I'm Art Bell. I'm not Art Bell though, just so you know. If my son ever watches these, he's probably just rolling his eyes like, dad joke, another dad joke, dad joke again. Hey, they have the Ray Bradbury short story, The Playground. Uh, I think I've mentioned about 10 million times over the years on the podcast how much I love Ray Bradbury and how much I read him growing up. Ironically, this is probably the only Ray Bradbury story that I cannot freaking stand. I think the ending is so dumb. Um, I won't get into it, but and that's I love Ray Bradbury, so that for me to say that, I can't think of another Bradbury story that I feel that way about. I think I've also mentioned his short story, one of many, of course, his short story Gotcha. If you haven't read it, it's one of the scariest stories ever written, in my humble opinion. Um, so you guys comment now, or if you're watching later, comment below and let me know if you want. It doesn't mean that I'll just read these. Okay, I'll read these and something else, but let me know if you want some more Stranger Than Science stories. I didn't know I would like reading these so much, and I didn't know that you guys would enjoy it so much either. So you gotta let me know if you want more. JB Priestley, there's a name from the past. The Gray Ones. That's a good story. I don't think you guys told me how your week was going. How's your week going? Here's an M.R. James story. Let's read an M.R. James story. It's only 2 pages long, and I'm, as I said, gonna keep it short tonight. From a School Story, page 204. Do you think Mr. James will mind if I read this? Probably not. Oh, you're lucky, Darren. Um, and my good friend and Patreon Ben Handelman and panelist, but he's been really busy lately, uh, never fails to tell me that he was at multiple Ray Bradbury talks and has signed Ray Bradbury books. And he did say he was going to auction. I got to write this down. Ray Bradbury auction. No, M.R. James is very creepy, Jeff. You're definitely right. All right, I'm going to read the about the editor's little intro to this too, which is about the same size as the story. Uh, According to the Oxford English Dictionary, the word ghost carries in its root the sense of anger and evil. The meaning has survived, and even today, a ghost is almost certainly something that will harm us. The reasons for this temperament are not always known and do not always matter, but ghosts have always been with us, taunting, frightening, and tormenting us since the first stories in the world were told. The ghost story is a genre in itself, and though very ancient, English literature did not recognize it as such until the Romantic Age. The best ghost stories I know of were written later, towards the turn of the century, by Sheridan Le Fanu and Montagua Road James. Oh my God, I'm butchering names. Dean of King's College, Cambridge. I have no particular fondness for the straightforward ghost story. For me, the simple apparition of a ghost is not enough. However, the following extract from M.R. James's Ghost Stories from an Antiquary has all the best qualities of the genre and is pleasantly terrifying. All right, here we go. Let's terrify. All right, let's see. I wonder if I can remember the staple ones that I was told. First, there was the house with the room in which a series of people insisted on passing a night, and each of them in the morning was found kneeling in a corner and had just time to say, "I've seen it," and died. Wasn't that the house in Berkeley Square? Well, I dare say it was. Then there was the man who heard a noise in the passage at night, opened his door, and saw someone crawling towards him on all fours, with his eye hanging out on his cheek. There was besides, let me think, yes, the room where a man was found dead in bed with a horseshoe mark on his forehead, and the floor under the bed was covered with marks of horseshoes also. I don't know why. Also, there was the lady who, on locking her bedroom door in a strange house, heard a thin voice among the bed curtains say, "Now we're shut in for the night." Nobody does it better. You're right, Jeff. You are correct, sir. On Thursday, storms, Cthulhu willing and no storms. I think Alan Hughes is going to join me, and we're going to solve the riddles of the universe. So, right, Alan? Thank you guys. When I start, this is episode, geez, this is episode 33 of the Tuesday night show. Um, I like that, Kim. And gosh, thanks for watching, you guys. I started it as an experiment, and I'm glad that you are enjoying it. If you have suggestions or improvements, or just want to say that it helps you get through your week, please comment below, because when I read comments like that, it helps me get through my week, honestly. Um, you know, it, and I do it too. so many things I read online or watch online, and I don't take the time to say, "Hey, thanks. This made my day a little bit brighter." And I try to do that a lot, but it's a human thing to just to not do, even if you have really enjoyed it. But if you do, let me know. I really appreciate it. Monty is to my left, but yes, he's almost invisible. So you're gonna bring your copy of the Tao of Physics. Okay, I'll bring my copy of the Tao of Pooh. Those will match up nicely, Alan. So thank you, Darren. Um, thanks everyone for watching live. Thanks everyone for watching later, and we'll see you Thursday night at the same time, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. And if you haven't watched this past Sunday's episode, wow, that was a hell of a lot of fun. That was a great conversation with some great writers and a great editor and some great panelists. So yeah, good night, everyone. See you on Thursday, okay? Thanks for watching.